Hello, everyone. Andy Tanner here. Welcome to our new student orientation. This is usually something that I do that's recorded. But under the circumstances, there's so much to learn so fast that right now, if we were to go back a year ago and we had a new student orientation, I'd record it because we have time to do it. But the people that have joined our Cashflow Academy family in the last week or so, I know they probably did it with some sense of urgency. So the first order of business is to welcome you and congratulate you, and we're just grateful for the human family. There's some tough times coming ahead, but we're all gonna be okay, and I'm gonna take great care of you. First thing I'd ask of everyone is there's a little icon you can see on your GoToWebinar control panel, and whenever I do a live one, I see Billy right now. You see Billy Vodova? Am I saying that right, Billy? Keep flashing if I'm saying that right. Vodova? It's either Vodova or Vodova. But he's flashing his hand. See now Caleb Swim and Brad Sorensen and Alejandro, I think. Alejandro, I believe is how I pronounce that. See, now I got everyone. Everyone wants a shout out. Corey Bradshaw. Let's see. And we have many people here. Many people. So if I don't shout out your name, and now I've ruined it because now I've got a million people to shout out. But that's how we'll communicate. So the good news is since I got you guys' hands up, then that means it's going. Now watch, I'll put your hands down. Boink. And so that's great. Look at that. There's Ann Tanner. Ann Tanner, nice to meet you. We have the same last name. Maybe we all's kin. So that's great. Today we're going to try and keep it to about 90 minutes or less. We might even get it through it further. You'll forgive me. You'll notice I'm one of these guys that has a hard time not wearing his emotions on his sleeve. So sometimes I get a little choked up, as I look at all your names. And I welcome you to our family. I'm so excited for you because the things I'm going to share with you are going to be a blessing in your life. And the challenge we have right now is that, I'll just ask for raise of hands here, or we can put it even in the question box. Is how many of you hooked up with the Cashflow Academy and you feel a sense of urgency to learn this a little faster than perhaps under a yeah, there you go. Yes, yep, I do. Virginia, yep, there you go. Michael and Donna and Elena and Claire and Ken and Teal and Corin and Emil and Frankie and Jessica and I feel such a love for you guys already that we've just met. I want to yell out all your names, but I can't do it or we'll waste our time. So because we got to learn this faster, there's peacetime and there's wartime. And when I look at this market right now, it certainly isn't a peacetime market. It's a wartime market. And so the way you do things in wartime can sometimes be a little different than you do them in peacetime. So that's why I thought it was important to do this live. So let's just congratulate you. I honor you. Too many people talk about improving. Some people just shrug their shoulders, say it's too late, hope the government sends me a check. And other people say, you know what? It's time for learning. I'm going to learn this. And they know that knowledge is power. So this is going to be amazing for you guys. The first thing you'll notice that I always do is I always do this disclaimer. And, some people wish I'd gloss over it because I do it every speech I give. And imagine this, a year from now, you'll have seen this 52 times minimum in Mentor Club, and you'll see it dozens of times. And like, Andy, I don't need to be shown this 52 times. Well, and they say, look, I know you have to do this by law for your company, but we get it. But I'll tell you what, the risk in this stuff is real, right? It is real. And it's like when I take my sons on when we go practice our sharpshooting, and we go to the gun range, I don't care how many times we go to the gun range. The risk is the same every time we go in. So we have a little safety talk every single time we do it. And that's why I asked you guys when you got into your training to take that little 45-minute class first. Just out of curiosity, And we'll do this by raise of hand. How many of you have already gotten your password username? You're right ahead of me. You know what I'm going to ask. How many have already completed that course and got in and started poking around? That is freaking fantastic, you guys. I'm so happy you're action takers. Look at those hands, man. Look at the people go. Great freaking job. So good job, boys and girls and men and women. So this really says three things. I am not going to be your financial advisor. I can't say, hey, everybody, here's what to buy. You can probably appreciate, even from last week's meetings, that there's traders, there's also investors. Some of you are here because you've had some money on the sideline and you see an opportunity to pounce in opportunity. Other of you are here because you've got a lot of money in the market. You're like, I got to learn how to protect this stuff. Some of you are here because you're like, Andy, I just got laid off and I got to figure out how to change the cash flow for what I'm doing. Others are like, you know what, Andy, I had one person that signed up and said, this has been really rough for me. I just want to learn how to paper trade, so when we get through this, I can do it. So everyone's in a different situation, and so not everyone should do what I'm doing. So I'm going to give you education, and that's what we're going to do. I also do illustrations, though. Out of curiosity, and I'm planning on doing this tonight. I'll skip it if you don't want it, but I got the feeling you're going to want it. But one of the things I had on the agenda tonight was to, we had to go so fast in our meeting last week. Who would be okay if I slowed down a little bit and just took one or two of those trades and reviewed it quickly again and showed you how I would do it now if I was just coming to the market first time? Because I got to show you some cool stuff that I'd done a week ago. What about the guy that's getting in today? How would Andy, like if I just, was on vacation for 3 weeks, came home and saw this, how would I do the same trade today? Because some of you might be worried that you're late to the party. And I'm going to tell you, well, you are. You're late to the party, but you know what? I will rock and roll. Roger Weaver makes a great comment right here. He says, you know what? I appreciate this stuff being a little bit slower. And if you look at the testimonials that our students give us, we have people in 105 countries, and we've done this a long time. And what I've learned is if you go too slow, people complain. And if you go too fast, people complain. And what's just right, So no matter what, you're going to have people complain. So the complaint, me and my partner said, let's have people complain by going too slow instead of too fast. And the testimonials we get from our I don't like showing, this guy made X, this guy made that. That doesn't mean much to me. Anyone can get lucky and make money. The ones I appreciate is they say, I appreciate that Andy goes slow and that he repeats himself 1,000 times and that the training takes hours and hours to get through because it's slow. And so you'll see a much slower pace, but during the market, this week when we invited you guys to kind of preview, we had no choice to go fast because we had so much on the agenda. So I'm going to do my very best to go slow, and I'd rather have you complain and say, well, it's just going too fast, right? And you can only write so fast. So we're going to start to sort of slow it down, but I'm going to review that stuff if you'd like tonight, okay? So that's the disclaimer. There's risk involved. So be aware of that. Here's our agenda. What's in this for us tonight? We're going to become more familiar with the 4 pillars of investing. You guys really showed a lot of trust, and I think it had a lot to do with, some of you know I'm friends with Than Merrill, and you're one of Than Merrill's friends, and so you trusted me because you trust him. Some of you guys trust Robert Kiyosaki, and you know that I'm his paper assets advisor, and right now I've never felt important before. I don't feel important now, but I've never had so many people listen to me. It seems that, or call me, I'd say, in the last little week. So that's been kind of fun to get a few phone calls. So I haven't had a chance to really show you what the 4 pillars is. So I'm going to just introduce it, just preview it, and show you the magic of the 4 pillars. Second, I'll review those trades. I said I had time on the agenda to do it, so I'm going to review the trades from the last meeting, 1 or 2 of them. The concepts are the same. And I'll show you how to approach the same trade today. Okay, so you can still do the same trade today. We're going to take a tour of the website. Our website's very simple. There's only 2 or 3 buttons to learn. And I got to give a shout out to my partner Mike because he is really the person that makes this thing go. He's fantastic. And then I'm going to show you how to get support from us. Okay, it's very, very important that you know that we are here to help you and answer your questions. And we're very serious about that. And I have a team of people that can answer, 2 different types of categories of questions. We put you in 2 or 3 categories. And so I'll show you how to get support and help along the way, especially early. It seems like once people get going with this, their need for us, it's like a person learns how to ride the bike. The trailing wheels come off. But when you're first starting, access that. We are here to help you as much as you need help. So very important that you know that you're in good hands here, okay? And this is a big deal, okay? What's going to happen here, and I'll show you how all these work. And I know you guys, you like answering questions here. I'll try to, you have to understand there's one of me and a lot of you. I usually don't do these orientations live, so I'm going to do my very best. Normally, the 4 pillars course would start with, first one, second one, third one, you go in order. Well, like I mentioned, it's not peacetime now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how you might prioritize which of these you take first. I didn't have a chance to talk much about how the Mentor Club works. You just signed up for it. So we're going to talk about how this Mentor Club works. We're going to talk about how the Quick Start Labs are going to work. And those programs, 4 Pillars, Mentor Club, and Quick Start, get you oriented, get your feet on the ground, get you pointed in the right way. I have a lot of programs that you guys are not going to need. And so when we go in there and see all these programs, there's 1 or 2 of those that you are not going to need. And so if they're gray, that means you haven't purchased that program yet, and most of you are not going to need to. You follow? So there'll be some things you have access to and some things you don't need access to, and there's certain programs that you simply won't need to purchase, okay? There are also programs that I don't offer until a person has fulfilled these. And so I will talk to you about some of the prerequisites and the order and how these prerequisites work. And then you'll notice that a lot of people ask us for coaching. We don't have a button on that. We do that. We've done that invitation only and by request. If people want some small group, we have these little groups and clusters where we have live coaching through the 4 pillars. That's difficult for us to offer to, like, on the website to the masses because it's personal and it requires us to have a person to do it. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. That's a little tougher. And then the biggest thing is make your education plan. So with that, let's start with the first thing. I'm going to do a short lesson. We're going to spend about the first 15 minutes of our webinar here talking about this, which is the 4 pillars of investing. And this is exciting because this is where I get to do a little bit of teaching. And let's get started. Let's go. You guys ready? Give me a little thumbs up or hand up if you're ready. Today, Sunday at 7:15, we officially begin our training. Here we go. Let's rock and roll. And I'll record this for people that would like to get a replay on it, okay? If you want to review this one again. The 4 pillars of investing, I give a lot of credit to Robert Kiyosaki for this, because when he asked me to be the Rich Dad advisor on paper assets, the challenge was, okay, what do I know? What mistakes have I made? What mistakes have I seen other people's make? What victories have I had? What have my mentors taught me? And so I locked myself in my home office for a whole summer, and I went through everything I thought I might know about investing, and I really thought this through. This wasn't just arbitrary. And I thought, what can I help people that don't know how or know a lot about this to do this? And I found that everything I've done and everything I've taught over the years fits in 4 different areas. And these are the 4 areas, and they're the pillars of investing. Some people have their pillars, I have my pillars, you'll have yours, but these are mine. These are my 4 things that I do that help. And I draw a line right here. This stuff is where we gather information. And this stuff over here is how we act on that information. This is the action side. And, we can't take action without having some information. So pillar number 1 is called fundamental analysis. That's number 1. And what a fundamental analysis is seeing how strong something is, how solid it is, or how weak it is, okay? And so what I'll do right here, do I have can you guys see my screen? I have one person say they can't see my screen. Give me a little hand. Let me put the hands down. Hands up if you can see my screen. Oh, okay. Most people can see it. What happens sometimes is we've talked to go to webinar about this, and sometimes the burden is on your own ISP, your own internet provider. And so reach out to them, say, hey, I was on a webinar, everyone else can see it but me. What's going on? So there you go. Okay, a lot of people can see it. John, keep trying. And know that there will be a replay if not. Okay, so hang in there, John. And but we got 99.99% people say they can see it. So there you go. So that's great. So let's talk about the 4 pillars of investing with fundamental analysis for just a moment. And this is in the 4 pillars. Oh, little earthquake, little aftershock. Hold on, boys. Hang on. Gotta hold on a little under my table. Sorry. On Wednesday, there we go. We're safe. On Wednesday, we had a 5.7 earthquake in Salt Lake, and we just had these little aftershocks once in a while. So
I just felt it too, Andy.
Did
Sorry,
you really?
I had to chime in.
Yeah. It wasn't me lifting. Most people think it was probably just me lifting weights. I dropped my dumbbell and it causes a shock. Did you feel that one where you are, Mike?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So there we go. We're safe. We got the market melting down. We got pestilence. We got all this type of stuff.
We got the earthquakes in Utah.
Wait a minute. Victor Silva just sent a message. Victor Silva says the modules in the first pillar were great. Victor Silva, are you serious? Did you get through the whole first pillar already? That's ridiculous. That's awesome.
And
Victor says yes.
Somebody else chimed in and said they've already gone through the whole 4 pillars today. Earlier.
Oh, Cheryl, fantastic. That is awesome. So we got, next thing I'm looking for is, what comes next? Everybody, locusts? So here we go. So can everybody see me? Look at it. Michael Hoffus says he's done. Anthony says oh my gosh, you guys are through. You guys are rolling through these. Victor's like, I'm on a mission. Look, Denise Williams has been through them. So we're going to have to talk to you guys. My gosh, people don't go to work. They do the 4 pillars. So here we go. So watch this lesson. So some of you have been through this. So this will be a good review. Right now, there's people that are struggling out there. And I'll tell you why they're struggling. They're struggling because of income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is called a financial statement. What's it called? It's called a financial statement, and everybody has one. Everybody has income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Guess what? Companies have income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Guess what? Churches have income, the tithing, right? The expenses, the assets and liabilities. The Red Cross has income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Schools have income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Corporations like Apple and IBM and Tesla have income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. And guess what? Nations like Greece and Puerto Rico and the United States and Russia and Venezuela have income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. So this is the first pillar, isn't it? Everybody has this stuff. Everyone does. And guess what? Everyone has this one that's a problem. You see, income is the solution to expenses. Some people say, I have a problem, I've lost my job. No, that's not your problem. The job was you've lost your solution to the problem of food, clothing, and shelter and medicine. So when a person loses their job, they don't say, hey, I got a big problem, I lost my job. No, you lost your solution. And so maybe you find a different way to solve those problems. Isn't that right? And so that's a big deal. So just give me a little yeses. How many at least understand that everybody has a financial statement. You have one, I have one, and the nation's incorporated. Yeah, you guys got it. Okay, perfect. So, I've had some friends that have lost their income. And normally, let's take a picture of this so I don't have to write it all the dad blast of time. Let's take a picture of this. And then I can just make as many of them as I want. Here we go. Open that baby up. Oh, I love big stuff. That's nice and big right there. I like that. So we'll take that down to size. And so what most people do is they say, well, I have a job and income comes in and income goes out and that's it. Now, let's pretend for a moment that's new money. That's new money that comes in all the time. That's brand new money, right? New bills need new money. The next thing that happens is some people lost their job. They got a phone call, and so if you have a job, be grateful for it, because how many believe that last week at some point, how many believe that let's just take a guess. How many people, put in a number in the question box, how many jobs just in the United States, let's say, or your home country, wherever you are, do you think people got laid off? Do you think it was in the hundreds or the thousands? I'm just curious. Go ahead and write it in. Yeah, it's not hundreds, is it? It's huge. So unemployment is a problem. Well, not really. The problem, all employment was a solution to this. So what happens is now people are saying, well, I don't have any income. I have no income, but the expenses stay there. And so what they do next is they say, well, I don't have any new money here. So do I have any old money here? Do I have any cash that I saved? Do I have any gold that I could sell? Do I have any stocks I could sell? And watch, instead of taking expenses from the income column, now people are saying, how are we going to pay our bills? So just imagine someone who lost their job. And what the first thing they did is they said, okay, if income's stopping, what's the new solution to that problem? And they say, well, the new solution is sell my Ferrari and sell my stock and go get the money out of the bank. And they're trying to start figuring out a new solution to that problem of expenses. So this is new money from the job, but this is old money from the past, like savings and stuff. If you understand that shift in the problem of expenses and how they solve it, just say, I get it. And then I know you get it. So type in, okay, everyone, we're 100% right now. There's no one that doesn't get this. That's why you guys are awesome. Okay, so the problem with that is you create this hourglass, because let's say that I lose my job and I spend $5,000 a month in expenses, but I only have $10,000 in the bank. Then you look at it and you say, well, how long do I have? And someone says, well, maybe we got 2 months. Now, this is why I'm afraid for the country is the reason we're doing all this stimulus and trying to do bailouts for people now is in my home country, about 50% of the people, I believe someone said, I don't know what it is, only have about 2 weeks of money left, right? And those people are called paycheck to paycheck. They only have, 2 weeks of money. So that's a huge deal. The other thing is if this is in stocks, they can fall and you have risk here. So you might have less the more you wait and less because the stocks are falling and the stuff you have is worth less. And maybe everyone's trying to sell their new car now to get cash. Well, now the prices of cars go down, right? And so that is tough, because now we're trying to solve the expense problem with this stuff right here, okay? Now, please watch this. Let's go to our little photo sticky here and bring up another financial statement. And so this financial statement, right here, let's bring this baby up like this. This financial statement right here is interesting too, because now we have a zero here of income. And now we've depleted all our expenses. People say, well, guess what? The expense problem is still there. Gosh darn expense problem. And so maybe they say, well, I have an Amex card or I have a HELOC. And they say, how many months could we live off our Amex or our HELOC? And so you have that time again. And now your cash flow pattern looks like that. So we have 3 cash flow patterns to solve that problem. The E-box stays the same. The E-box stays the same. And the E-box will either use the income box. That's the one it'd like to use. That's the first cupboard it opens, see if there's food there. If it's empty, it says, what about the A box? And opens that cupboard and see if there's any food there. If there is, it'll eat it all. And then it looks at that one and says, oh, well, I don't have any income. So this is the So we can use any of those 3 boxes to solve that problem. Okay. How many think this would have been a really cool lesson to teach maybe, I don't know, 6th, 7th grade kids in school? How many wish you would have seen that in school? Do you think that would have been a good one right there? You know, I've taught my kids that, you know, and the reason I've taught this to my kids is very simple. I want them to move out. Excuse me for coughing. I can't laugh like that. That's terrible. I want them to move out, right? I want them to get out of there, right? Move out, kids. No, I love my kids. I'll actually cry probably the day they move out. I'm such a boob. So that's it, right? That's the deal. Well, I'll show you what a cash flow pattern of a wealthy person looks like here as well. Let's bring one of these back over. Is the cash flow pattern of a wealthy person looks like this. And I'm going to expand this. I'm going to treat you guys like advanced students instead of intermediate students. But I'll tell you the best cash flow pattern I know of. A person borrows, so they use debt, and then they take that cash they just borrowed and they turn it into an asset that gives value to the community, or value to the stock market, or value to another trader, or whatever, the value. And because they have that asset, the asset produces income. And notice the difference between the blue and the green is assets that produce money for expenses are different than assets that produce income, then expenses. And hopefully this is called passive income. And if the passive income, PI, if the passive income is greater than the expenses, people are financially free, and the problem is solved because of the assets they bought that were smart instead of these blue assets over here. And that's why the Cash Flow Academy was formed. So a college, and I'll show you this. Now watch this. The reason I took you the time to introduce the first pillar of investing this way is, in fact, we could just take a picture of this whole dad blasted thing right here. There's one more I can show you. Let's see, these are stuck together. There's one more I can show you. And I in fact, you know what? Let's do it right. Let's not cut corners just because of speed. We got time. We're okay. Let's take a picture of that one. It's okay to do, you know, if it's worth, if a project's worth an hour's work, well, then give it 3 or 4, right? So I'll take that down, and now I can delete everything. So I'll put that one out here. Now we got some really good looking financial statements here, right here. Look at this. We'll size these up beautifully. It's so fun to learn this way, drawing pictures and having fun stuff. This one right here, we'll put this in violet. 0, 0, 0, and no cash flow goes out. So that's another one. Now, there's 5 financial statements, 5 of them right there. And the beginning of your financial education is to begin to look at these financial statements through this lens. This is the beginning of it. Now, I'm going to take you a lot further because this is just your first lesson on it. But this is to help you understand the concept, just a preview of what the first pillar is. And this is called fundamentals. So, you know, if you were a bank and you wanted to loan money to one of these 5 people, and we'll just label them A, B, C, D, E. If you were a bank, who would you want to loan money to? Because you're investing in a person. So let's just think about that right here. Man, I love the commitment, Dennis. This is why I get emotional. You know, when times are tough, we find tough people. Dennis Ray says, Andy, I will stay with you all night if I had to. So most people say E, and I really like John, A and E, because at least A has a job, right? So that's interesting stuff, right? Watch this. Watch this. I can take this lens, and I think you'll be interested in this. This person is what we call a person in the rat race. And I can tell they're in the rat race from their financial statement. This person has what we call a 401k. He's retired. He doesn't work anymore. He's retired, and he draws money from his 401k. This is why so few people are excited about 401ks, because when they get the retirement, that hourglass is there, and they say, well, gee, how long do I have? Can I really retire? I might stay in the rat race longer, because they know once I move the rat race to here, it's an hourglass, and what if the stocks go up and down? This is a financial pattern where we have borrowed money to pay expenses. This is the U.S. government, and most of the others I might add. The U.S. government, and this it would be like Detroit, because Detroit declared bankruptcy, and so did Hostess when couldn't sell the Twinkies, and this is bankruptcy when this happens. And this right here would be a great like Kenny McElroy is my mentor, Rich Dad Advisor wise. I think Kenny, of all the advisors, is the best at it. So he's a great mentor to me. And this is also like Apple Computer. They borrow money because it's cheaper than repatriating it. And they take that money and they expand their business and they sell stuff and pay their bills. So this would be like an Apple Computer right here. And so here's the big picture lesson. Don't get tied up in the small stuff, right? Don't get tied up in the small stuff. And Dana says they seem like to be happy with A. Actually, no. Because they're happiest with this one, Dana, because this guy's rich. He has assets. So pretend that this guy has, 300 rental properties. He's got, stocks. Imagine this is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett doesn't get a paycheck, does he? Warren Buffett does not get a paycheck. Warren Buffett buys assets that pay dividends. Do you see that difference right there? Did that help, Dana, a little bit? Warren Buffett is over here. In fact, let's put him here. Here's WB, Warren Buffett. And so what a fundamental analysis does is I get to see who's weak and who's strong right now. If a lot of people lose their jobs and they don't have these assets, it's going to show up pretty quick in this thing. 6 months down the road, those that lost their job and burnt their assets, we're going to find out who they are pretty quick. A little bit further down the road, we're going to find, can you see that pattern, how that's going to go through? Who sees that pattern? Does that make sense? Yeah, Sean, they pay them quarterly, whatever. Some not, some yes, most do. So this is important stuff. So first of all, how many like this first lesson on fundamental analysis? Give me a yes if you like this context. Was that nice and simple right there? Easy right there? Someone said, John Rolo, I got to say this, Rolofus? I can't read. Someone even gave me a brilliant on this. That's never happened to me before. I've never had anyone this, okay? Sean McKinney saying, oh, you got to go faster. Some people saying, this is funny. I'd rather get chewed out for going slow than fast. So when you get into the fundamentals, the 4 pillars right here, okay? When you get into the 4 pillars, you're going to see that this happens on these levels right here, okay? You're going to see that this happens on these levels right here. See that? And the way the 4 pillars is laid out is that this is the one I usually teach first, because the most important fundamental analysis you'll ever do is on yourself. I track the health of my household. I track by looking at mine and say, which one of these do I look like? And if I see one of them needs to be shored up, then I know what column to work on rather than just trying to go out and get a job. So I use this to look every day. My wife looks at this every day, and she tracks these numbers on a daily basis. If one of them starts to give us grief, we take action and we start to do things to shore up that box, right? For example, if I want to do this one here, this green one, I need to be able to have credit to borrow money to buy things. For example, I have some real estate. I have to borrow money to buy that real estate to put in the renter to pay the payment and then get cash flow out of it. Make sense? So this is the one we usually do first. In peacetime, we do that first. The second one we would do is corporate. And now we do this on a stock, because just as if you guys had to show me your personal financial statements right now, I'd know exactly who is weak, who is strong, and who is really strong. You show me your financial statement right now, I'll know exactly where you're at in 10 seconds. I'll know where you are right now in freaking 10 seconds. You show me your financial statement. Guess what? If Heinz Ketchup shows me their financial statement, I know where they're at too. It's no different. How are they paying their bills? They've got too much debt right now. This was inflated, but the one I cared about is, do they have the income to pay this debt and pay me? The answer is yes. They're selling ketchup. Boom, I'm in. It's not that tough, okay? The third one that I usually have you go to in this course is we do sovereign fundamentals, okay? So it usually goes first, second, third. That's in peacetime. In peacetime, that's the order we do it in. In wartime, 1, 2, 3. Everybody got that? And I'll go back through this. Don't worry about writing it down right now. I'm going to give you this all in one slide. We'll make this organized, but that's the order we'll do it in. Okay. So don't write that down now. But right now, we got to go fast, right? We got to go fast. So I'll show you how to do this. That's all I'm going to do on fundamentals tonight. Obviously, there's a lot of things to learn in the fundamental stuff, but that's it. By raise of hand, use your hand clicker so you don't need to write. How many like that little lesson on fundamental analysis and you're ready to get more from me? You ready for this? Good. How many feel let me put your hands down. You guys invested a little money in your education last week. Who's already feeling better about it? Who's excited you did? And this is what it's going to be, guys. This is what it's going to be. You're going to watch these videos. You're going to hear my voice, whether it's live or recorded, and these are the types of things you're going to experience, and you're going to get it, okay? You are going to get this, okay? So it's awesome. So there you go. So let's pull this off. And let's pull this off. Let's pull this off. Now, the second pillar is technical analysis. And we're not needing to spend that much time on this one. Traders are going to need this more than investors. But all technical analysis is the chart. It's the supply and demand of the market. This is the pillar I'm going to have you guys study last, actually. Now, how do we use this? I'm just going to do a little review, okay? And I'm going to go back to ExxonMobil. Well, no, I'm going to go back to oil, actually, and just give you a review now of what we talked about last week. And let's just do it this way. Let's just go with the time frame of everything I can get on a month, so it's not too ugly. And we'll see how they do with it. And here we go. Now, just remember this, that technical analysis, whoops, did I get that moved over? I have too many screens open. I'll tell you what, I'll be patient with you as you learn if you be patient with me while I teach. Did I close my fundamentals pillar and my technicals pillar? Well, if I did, I know how to bring them back up really fast. Oh, it's down here, fundamentals. Get that out. Shrink that down. And technical analysis, here we go. So technical analysis is where I look at the chart. Everybody see that? On the fundamental side, I'm looking at their financial statement, see how the company's doing. Technicals is the trend. So what if I looked at your financial statement? That tells me a lot about where you're at financially right now. But what if I looked at where things were going over time? Then I'd start seeing some trends too. And so technical analysis is looking at trends. So watch this. You see if you remember when I did this. In the class last week, I was just saying, look. I saw that in 2005, we went from resisting $40 barrel oil, resisting $40 barrel oil, resisting $40 barrel oil, to supporting $40 barrel oil. And so I said, and I was wrong, by the way, which is a really great lesson. I said, look, based on what I know about the past, looks like $40 a barrel would be a pretty good place to buy. Now, this is I'm so happy that I was wrong. Because if it had been right, everyone would think I'd be magic. I'm so happy I was wrong because it's the best way you could learn this. It really is. A or B? A. technical analysis is magic, and it can predict right where the stock's going to go every time. That's A. B, technical analysis isn't magic, but it did give Andy some reasons behind his thinking. Ready? A or B? I love these people. I love them. Guess how a lot of people teach technical analysis? They teach it as A. I'm not kidding. There are people who teach saying, oh yeah, these charts are magic. You know, if you look at these, you'll know exactly what's going to happen. The defining characteristic of the stock market that it's unpredictable. And so you guys are exactly right. But how many think I was still smart to at least look at my chart and to find an opportunity, even though it didn't work out? Did you guys see some intelligence there by going back and looking this before I made it? Does that make sense to everybody? And Ken, if you look at your go to webinar control panel, there's a place to raise your hand. I think there's a little question box in there. So that's good stuff, okay? So this is good stuff. So those are the first two pillars. And then I said, all right, so 2005 is my switch point. 2005 is my switch point. So I say, well, okay, that is fine for this, but what about ExxonMobil, right? What about OXM? And I look at those guys and I say, hey, max available, hit it. It's not going to do it for me. Well, I guess I'll have to do it a different way. So we'll do it a different way. Well, it's giving it to me there. So maybe I'll have to fight it a little bit. It's not giving it to me. I wonder why it won't give me my chart. Oh, well. So ExxonMobil, oh, whoops. Maybe I didn't get it right. OXM. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. So ExxonMobil, right? And I see that 2005 point. Let's get it perfect. And look at that. It behaves a lot like oil, didn't it? Behaves a lot like oil did. Bring that down. Look at that. And I see that same type of resistance before and that same type of support after. Look at that. And I think, you know what? $55 is my price. And I was wrong. So again, how many can see that I had a reason for doing this stuff, but I was wrong? I was wrong. So type something cool in there that say, this is making sense to me, and then we can move to the next pillar, okay? This one is the least important for us right now. Now, why would I have you learn these two first? Well, what I'm doing here is I'm gathering information here, right? I'm gathering information here before I take action. So the first two pillars help me gather information. Does the company suck? And what does the trend look like? And then from that information, I get to take action and start building a position here. So the important thing to know is it's not a crystal ball. It's more like, what are the chances of rain? It's more like a forecast than a crystal ball, okay? So everyone say, awesome on the first pillar, awesome on the second pillar if we're ready to move to the next thing. You guys understand what you're going to be learning now? Good orientation? You know, you guys are doing really well, right? Okay? Look at this. You guys are so nice. Look at Jennifer Stewart saying fantastic. Look at that. I got a lot of awesomes too. Okay, awesome stuff. Awesome times two I got from a couple of guys. That's awesome. Okay, great. Great. So now let's look at these pillars. Okay, let's go and look at the cash flow pillar. Okay. And the best way I can describe what the cash flow pillar is, okay, great, Andy. Once I get this information and once I've developed opinion about things, you know, I need to take a position. I need to buy an asset or sell an asset or take a position. If I have an asset and this stuff looks frowny, you know, should I change my position? If I look at an asset and it looks smiley, well, I don't even know what that is, and it looks smiley, then maybe I do a position. And so basically what the third pillar is teaches us how to extract cash from the world by giving value based on what the fundamentals and technicals are on the personal level, on the sovereign level, and every other level. Okay, very, very simple, very, very easy. So one of the pillars we're going to help you, or one of the positions is we'll do a long position. And if you look at your financial statement, a long position means you own it. Okay, you own something. a short position means you've made a promise or you've sold a promise. So that means you owe something, okay? You can do a time decay position, and this is really rent, where I sell someone a month in my rental house and I let the time tick away. Or I sell someone some insurance like Geico and I let the time tick away. Or I sell a membership to a gym and I let the time tick away. And so we have time. We have volatility trades where I can actually make money when volatility moves. And you're going to learn all this cool stuff. I'm going to show you all this stuff. You're about to learn it, but we're going to learn it in certain order. For example, there's always going to be opportunity for you and I. Always. From now until the day you die, there's an opportunity, because markets can only do three things. They can only go up, down, or sideways, right? The problem you had before you and I met is you probably were dependent on things going up. Last week, if you were in my class, you learned that you could actually make money on things going down. How many say, I don't mind making money up or down, just up, down, sideways, say, I'm good with it. I'm good with it now. Up, down, or sideways, I'm good with it. And so I'll show you how to get volatility money. For example, I'll tell you what the next one of the things we might be looking for in a couple of months here is if this thing, this thing might last, a year, 2 years, but I'll tell you what, if you look at the volatility and you take the volatility index right here, wrong drawing tool, and you take a look at it, these spikes don't last very long. They go up and then they go down. They go up and they go down. They go up and they go down. This one will probably last a little longer. It'll probably be more like one of these, but they don't last long. Well, I can show you trades that the traders use to make money when these fall as well as when they go up. See that? So whatever, we're going to find opportunity everywhere, okay? And we might use stocks. Where's my pen right here? We say, you know what? We might use stocks to get rich right here. Try to get rich. We might use options to go right. I might take a stock position. No, I'm going to take an opposite position. No, I don't trade a lot of Forex, but we might once in a while. I know I'm going to go get some gold and take a gold position. I love my real estate positions. And so what cash flow is it helps us decide what asset we want to go with, stock, option, real estate, Forex, whatever. And it also tells us whether to go long, short, time decay, rent, buy, flip, whatever. And so the cash flow tells us the vehicle that we're going to use to get this done. You okay with that pillar? Is that good enough explanation of that we're going to do this? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Okay, last pillar. Then we're going to talk about some other stuff. Last pillar. This is about sudden change. I'm actually going to give you a little lesson on risk tonight if you'd like. We're doing really well on time. We're about halfway through. Shannon says, you're getting me pretty excited about this. That's awesome. Well, we're going to do them. We're going to do it. So we're going to talk about sudden change. Now watch this. This is going to make sense logically to you, making it feel pretty good. The reason that I took the cash flow position is because the company was good. Let's say it's a long position. We're going to buy a stock. Company was good and it was headed in the right direction. Well, doesn't that make sense to you? The company was good, had a solid balance sheet, headed the right direction. So I buy it. It's not that tough. It is not that freaking tough. And so if the company stays going well, let's say the company is doing really well and we give it a smiley face when we look at its financials. And let's say that the stock is headed in the right direction and we give it a smiley face on its direction. Well, if it stays a good company and stays going the right direction, we should make some money on that, shouldn't we? And the only thing that can stop that is if one of these things changes, right? If the fundamentals stink and the technicals, if these go from smiley to frowny, we just had sudden change. And so what we do here is we protect against sudden change. Why am I using my mouse when I can write it? Protect against sudden change, and we can insure against sudden change. We can take a position size that if it changes, it doesn't kill us, it just hurts us. or we could sell and run for the hills. But what risk management is having a plan for sudden change. And the reason that most of you are probably here right now is because of that. That's probably the reason that most of you are here, because normally, and I told you this the other night, so I'm going to reiterate this so I know that you're hearing me, is, normally, we don't have $40,000 in here. It's just that we had sudden change and we had a plan for this change, and the stuff like our plan before, we didn't have negative deltas. You're going to learn from me later, the negative delta means we're betting on destruction. Guys, 2 weeks ago, we had this same delta positive. We were riding the market up 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, this was a positive number. So we have a plan for sudden change and adjustment. And it's those adjustments like you saw, was it IBM? I don't remember what it was. Yeah, this is a risk-free trade now. Remember this risk-free trade? Well, the only reason we could turn this risk-free is because we have a plan for sudden change. And so, you guys are already understanding plan for sudden change. I'll tell you what. Do you know if your house is going to burn down? Do you really know? Is it about predicting stuff? Oh, do you know your house is going to burn down? Or do you have insurance just to have a plan for sudden change? Okay. I don't have earthquake insurance right now. I thought, it's not going to happen. Not very smart. Guess what? My partner, Mike, who we just had an earthquake, Mike does have earthquake insurance. And I told Marcy, I go, we're getting it. We're getting it. We're not completely prepared for an earthquake. I was taking too much what? What's the word? If I'm in an earthquake zone living on a fault, and we're having earthquakes now, and a couple of my rental houses are true brick homes. They're older homes, and I don't want to have a trouble there. So what do I was taking too much risk. I was taking too much risk by not having earthquake insurance. You'd think a guy like me would be smarter than that. So I got to manage that risk better. So that is an overview. Okay, that was one of our goals today, was to do a review or an overview of the 4 pillars of investing. How many understand why I have you do the 4 pillars of investing now? How many understand that? You get it? Say, I get it. Or not, or just listen, whatever. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so that's the 4 pillars. All right, let's review 1 or 2 trades. This won't take long. And you don't need to understand this. The goal here is not to have you understand it yet. You'll learn it in your classes that I'm going to give you. There's no point in teaching 20 hours now. But let me go to ExxonMobil from last night or the other night. Do you guys remember that? ExxonMobil? And I have to do this differently because Noah just put a trade on this. Look at this guy. He's such a stud. This is kind of fun. We're up on ExxonMobil $1,000. I'm up a little more than that because I have different trades. So whether this is Noah's trade, my trade's in a different account. So let's say I came to ExxonMobil today and OXM. Let's say I came on to ExxonMobil today and I didn't do all that cool stuff. ExxonMobil. I didn't do all that cool stuff that Andy showed. Let's go with a year daily. I didn't do all that cool stuff and it's already down. It's too late for me, right? Too late for me. What would I do with this right here? And you guys are actually, possibly in a better situation than me. So if you don't understand this, don't worry about it right now because you'll learn it. The big picture to catch here when I'm done with this is simply to say, the party might be over soon, but it isn't over yet. I do have some time if I study hard in the 4 pillars. Some of you already been going through them already. If I study hard, and review it, and you can't, by the way, is it okay to take the 4 pillars class more than once and review it more than once? Of course it is. You got lifetime access to it, right? And so that's cool. So watch. I thought the right price to buy was going to be right there at $55, right? And if you remember, I sold, let me just draw it for you guys. We'll do it right here. My trade, if you remember, looked like this. There was Andy over on this side, and I said, I promise right, to buy ExxonMobil at $55 right here. And this guy over here, whoever he was, said, Andy, and remember, I did this right about here. I thought right about here when it was, 70 or so. This is in February. I made this about a 2 week, maybe a little further, about 2 weeks before it started falling apart. I made this trade. And he said, Andy, I'll give you 55 cents a share. I just did 500 shares on this one, not massive, but 500 shares is a nice little chunk. And so 0.55, come on. Here we go. 0.55 times 250 shares. 0.55 times 500 shares. There we go. $275. Now let's pause that for a moment. How many of you have a rental house? Like a little single family home rental house, and you got $1,000 of rent, maybe your mortgage is $750. So basically, this is like a little rental house, isn't it? I click a button, $250, $770 cash flow. Did the same thing on Delta Airlines. Clicked a button, $275 in cash flow. Did the same thing on Kraft Heinz. Click a button, got cash flow. So you build up a bunch of positions or cash positions like this. You just click that button a few times and the cash comes rolling in. Okay? It's kind of nice. And I get that money up front. So that's what I did then. So watch this. And I promised to buy at 55. It went below there. Does anyone remember from the webinar what I did after it hit that price of 55? And I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. It might go lower. What did I do? Does anyone remember what I did after it went too low? That's right, Cody. I bought insurance. That's right. I bought a put. Sean, that's fantastic. Great job, Cheryl. I bought a put. Fantastic. Rashid Hall did a put. You guys lowered my cost basis. Emil, you guys learned so freaking much from that first time. That was awesome. So let's say you were looking at this right now, or someone was looking at this right now, and don't make and don't do this in a real account, right? That's part of our agreement. Do this in a paper credit account until you get good at it. Wouldn't make sense to have your first flight solo if you're flying an airplane. That wouldn't make any sense. So just have the discipline to kind of chill here. But let's just say that what if you wanted to promise to buy at 30 right here? I'm just saying, for you personally, who think that'd be a fun price, 30? Let's just say that. Say, I like it at 30. Pretend you had a lot of money, you could buy it, whatever. I like it at 30 or whatever. Okay. All right. 20. Someone says 26. Someone says, okay, now this is awesome. Okay. This is awesome. I like 30. Okay. Emil likes 29. Aaron likes 26. Cheryl Wegner likes 25. Some are liking this. My cost basis, I like, $1, right? But no, we're realistic. I mean, it's valuable. We don't want to lowball the market. So watch this. I go into ExxonMobil, and I bring up my option chain. We want to do this short term, like April. Let's see. And I look at some of these prices. Now watch, your price is a little bit better. I like them far out. So remember how I wanted 55 cents? Remember how I said I wanted 55 cents? Watch what I'm going to do here. Let's use technical analysis, and let's just see something right here. Let's go to April 17th. And I'm just going to show you something right here that you might like. This area in gray is called a standard deviation. And if we get rid of all these all these little deals right here, I get rid of all these little price slices right here, is, guys, between now and April 17th, there's a 68% chance that ExxonMobil is going to be somewhere in this range based on its past behavior, based on how volatile it's been. So there's only a 15% chance that it'll be down here at 23. So I went down here to 20, and there's only a 5% chance I'll get to pick this up at 20. Does everybody understand that? How many can see just right here, say, I got it? With this price slice, I come down to 20. There's only a 5% chance that I'm going to get this. And here's 78 and 15. So I got a 95% chance I won't even buy it. 95% chance I won't even buy it if I look down here at $20. But watch this, you guys. I think you'll like this. if I promise to buy it at $20, I'll get what's called the mark between this. So do I have the mark? Yeah, here I have the mark right here. So at $20, the mark is 58 cents. So you do better than I would. You guys aren't, that's not fair. You guys could get that same 55 cents I got, except you get more. You get 58. Mark's a little more volatile now. And you get that same thing by clearing the hell down there at 20. And you just pocket that money. So let's do that. I'll show you this. Watch this. Let's sell it, and let's put in the 58 that we'd get. Let's say we'll just do 100 shares. You guys want to do, how many shares you guys want to do? You want to do 100 or 500? What do you want to do? You want to do 500? Okay, 500. Someone says 1,000. You guys are so greedy. So 500 shares, okay, right here. 500 shares, and let's graph that. Okay, that's 500 shares. That's huge. We want 5 contracts, Andy. Okay, 100 shares per contract. So that's $270, just like I would have got. So you're not late to the party. You're not late to the party. 500 or $270, just like I got. Right? $270. That's at 54. We're going to go 58 because that's what we said we could get. So let's go up to 57, 58. So $290. That's what it'd be today. What are the chances of you actually picking it up? 5%. Chances are, now watch this little blue line. Watch this little blue line. We're going to march this forward. Ready? We're just going to go forward. And this is called, remember I called that time decay thing? Whoop, let's go to today. Okay, let's just march this forward. I guess it's going to make me do it a day at a time. Okay, here's next Wednesday. Let's march it forward. Here is April 15th. Look. See, you got the full 290 now. See how the standard deviation is big? It's only got 2 days left. And here on expiration, April 17th, it's expired. And any price between 20 all the way up to infinity, look at the corner right here, 418, you keep that 290. So there's a 95% chance you don't even own the stock, but you get that on your cash in your account. Now remember, you guys, that I had to have, you got $290, but you promised to buy it at 58 cents, which is about, we'll call it 30 grand, probably 28 grand, something like that. So let's divide that just by, $29,000 or whatever it would be. I don't know what it'd be. It's still 1% on your money in a month. Times that by 12, that's 12% a year. Pretty conservative trade. Give me a yes if you're liking this and you're starting to learn it a little bit better than the speed of yesterday. Do you like this? Okay, now look. Okay, look, get the big picture here, guys. Look, get the big picture. Some of you guys are like, okay, how many want to be mamby-pambied and how want to be coached? Type it in right now. If you want to be mamby-pambied, say, oh, be gentle, Andy. If you want to be coached, say, be a coach. Let's see. Let's like, coached. Give it to me straight, please, coach. Someone says, beat me. Whips and chains. Okay, so let me tell you what a good question is right now. What do you think is more important right now? To focus or to worry about the other stuff? Do you think I'll eventually teach you how to get this software? Do you really think we're going to go through this for the next year and I'm not going to show you how to set up this software? Okay, so some people are like, how do I get the software? How do I do this? How do I get an account? How do I? We're not talking about that right now. Just relax for a minute, guys. Of course, I'm going to help you learn how to set this software. We have something called the Investor Boot Camp. Guess what? We're going to get there. We're going to show you how all this stuff works and the website. We're going to get there. Just relax. My poor staff trying to answer these questions. It's like, just relax for a bit. Who's okay with me coaching like that once in a while, right? You okay with that? Okay, there you go. So we'll get you the pay-per-trade account. We'll get you the stuff, but you have to do this on paper. Now, someone says, Andy, only a 5% chance. Well, let's go back to today on this. Andy, but I want to own the stock. I'm an investor. I actually would like to own this stock. So let's get this into April 17th again. I want to get inside the standard deviation. Well, that's even better for you. Watch this. If you decided, some of you guys said you wanted it at 30. Okay, let's do one for you guys at 30. Okay, right here, let's analyze a sell trade, just a single. And your mark right here is $2.36. So we got to take that up quite a bit because we always shave the spread. So your mark would be $2.36, pretty wide spread. So if you wanted this at 30, and that was your price, $2.36, then your risk graph looks like this. And now the chance of you owning that stock is a little less than 50%. You got a 44% chance you'll own it, and you got a 64% chance you won't. And if you own it and it keeps going down, you'll start losing money. That's when you got to buy that put later. But for now, we're just trying to acquire it. Now, this math is stupid and ridiculous. Those of you that said you'd like to buy ExxonMobil at 30, you're going to get paid, let's see, you want it on 500 shares, right? Wasn't that what you're saying, 500 shares? So 5 contracts. Look at the little blue box here. You're going to make $1,000 to buy that. You're going to get paid $1,180 to buy it. There's only a 40% chance it'll get down there that you will, right? And some of you are like, no, I really want to own it where it is right now. I want to own it where it is right now, Andy. Well, right now it's at $35. So if we change that trade and say, no, I'll commit to buying it at $35, right? We're going to click this. Now you're going to make $2,100. And you got about a 50-50 chance, as you can see. A little bit better. Well, let's get down here where it belongs. You got a little bit better. Yeah, you got a little bit, 35. Yeah, you got better than 50% chance. You got a 65% chance of buying it, but you're getting paid $2,000 to do it. How many like this say, hey, I think I'm going to study? You guys going to study? Who's going to study with me? You going to study? You going to study? So this is the point. Was to show you a couple, I only have time for one, but I showed you a trade on ExxonMobil. How many realize that the party might get me over? We don't want to go back up, but this gives you a little confidence to get paid. And, Michael Italia says, I'm not sleeping until I've gone through the 4 pillars. Easy now, easy. You got to eat, you got to stay in good health now. Okay. So this is awesome. Okay. Caleb asks, I love Caleb's question. He says, where's the risk? Look at the risk gap. The risk is if I buy this at 35 and now I own it and the stock continues to fall, I'm going to lose money on my stock. But remember, what are we worried about after this? Price or cost basis? Which one, everybody? After we buy it cheap, price or cost basis? I mean, look, remember, the problem is you don't know how far it's going to go. So you say, okay, I'll buy it 35 right here. I'll buy it 30. Or Andy said he wanted to buy it 20. Doesn't matter. I'll manage the risk, whether I buy it here. Look, the reason I'm buying it is I think it's going to be up here someday again, and I think it's going to pay me a dividend of 10%, long term. So, whether I get it here, look, did I get it at the bottom? Who remembers the price Andy bought this at? Did I get it at the bottom? Does anyone remember? Yeah, I'm clear the hell up here, guys. So every single person is going to get a good cost, better than me, except I had a put after I bought it to protect myself. So the reality is most of you, if you study hard and whatever and work with your broker and tell them you want to learn how to do this, if you call up your broker and your advisor, say, I really like ExxonMobil at 30. I think I'd like to write some puts to do that. He could do it for you. He'll charge you more than if you do it yourself. But you guys are going to do better than me on this. But do you want to wait until it's at 90? Do you want to wait till it's at 90 again? Do you want to wait till this goes back up again? So time is of the essence. But there we go. Okay, now I can't answer all the questions tonight. Remember, this is an orientation. Okay, it's just to get you oriented. Okay, how do you get support? I'll show you get support. Okay, who's happy with the orientation so far? Say I'm happy. Who's a happy customer? You happy? Yeah, you're not late to the party at all. Okay, so happy. Amen. I'm way happy to have you. Can you guys tell I'm having fun too? Kyle Miller says Andy's the man. My team is the man. I got such a great team. I would not be here without you and without my team. Very, very cool. Okay. Look. Well, if you were in my shoes, what would you say? You'd say, it was $2,000 to get in this program. $2,000. That was it. That's how much it was. So if you're in my shoes, what would you be thinking? Well, they've spent money on this program over here with him, and maybe they went to school and college, and maybe went over here. So if you're in my shoes, you'd say, I want them to say a year from now that this was the best program I've ever taken, right? That's what I'm coming. That's why we're doing a live one tonight, guys, right? look at this. Okay, now this is important. I don't give advice. And I'm going to ask you guys again to stay focused, okay? Look, we're going to pause here and talk about focus. Last week when the market went down, we went into focus. My family got together, we went into focus. We focused on our health, okay? I wasn't really worried about what boat I'm going to buy next year to go water skiing on, right? And I know you guys have a lot of questions, but I'm going to teach you the importance of focus. Focus on the task at hand. Is there going to be a time where I can give you a list of stocks that pay good dividends for you to review? Yeah, I could do that, but I'm not going to do it right now. It's not what we're talking about. What I'm trying to help you do is help my team to bring in your questions to relevant to the topic. If you say, well, what do you think about Tesla right now? Well, first of all, it's a recommendation question. It's not relevant. Who appreciates that as I coach you, I'm going to love you by helping you stay on the task at hand? Someone says, I want to learn to fish. It's fantastic. Guys, this is what I do. I've taught for years, taught for decades, and I will keep you focused. I will take care of you. I will answer your questions. So with that, now have we done a good job on the 4 pillars? Yep. Can you guys see that you're not late to the party? Yep. You say, oh, there's still opportunity for me? Yep. Yep. Oh, thank you. Great. Okay, let's bring up the website. And we love our website. So let's look at the website right here. And we'll give you a little tour. And this is easy because once you log in, right? Let me log in here. Okay, log in and right here. Okay, so once you log in, there's a home button, which will take you home, so we don't need that. There's a courses dashboard, and there's support, and you can log out. That's it. So we're going to talk about members and support here, and we're going to look at our training products, okay? And we're going to go through these quick. And I'm going to help you, and we're going to get a lot of birds with one stone right here. This is going to be pretty easy. Okay, you'll notice that I have not, this is my account, and I have not subscribed to New Investor Weekly because I give it. You do not need New Investor Weekly, okay? You don't need it. Now, if you want to be entertained and spend $40 a month for it, good for you, but this is below your pay grade because this helps. All this was designed is for me to show off a little bit every week and see if people want to buy our training. So this is and I'm very blatant with the people. Every week I say, all right, New Investor Weekly people, if you ever get serious about this, buy the 4 pillars, right? So it's kind of like it's not even as good as the webinars you got. It's very light level stuff. So you don't need that, okay? What you guys have right now, okay, this is critical, okay, is the 4 pillars. You have the Mentor Club and you have the Quick Start Lab. So if you do not have these in color, okay, you don't have access to these 3, then we need to help you immediately. So just by raise of hand, who's already been in there and you've seen you've had access to these 3? If you do not have access to these 3, you're going to click the support button and make sure we get you access to these 3. Okay. Now, so you don't need that one right now. You can read this later. Okay. But this is free anyway, but you don't need to read that right now. You can read it later. Okay. And this class is maybe a maybe down here, but the ones in green are the ones you need right now. Now, people say, Andy, this Ultimate Options looks pretty tasty to me. I don't mind if people are really dedicated and they really want to say, I want to know everything Andy knows about options. I want to know as soon as possible. Okay, great. You can hop in, click on it, get your pricing, whatever, and you can do it. But I would tell you right now is you would not be bad to get your 4 pillars done and spend maybe a month or 2 in the Mentor Club and then go to this. Because you understand that you want to learn to add, subtract before you multiply. Make sense? And so let me show you what your subscription looks like. So the goal here is to show you what you have. So you have this, and this is for life, okay? You invested $2,000 in your education here. This is life. And that's usually what I just do. I charge $2,000 to earn this for life. And, this is $2,000 to get in, $19.97, you're in for life. what I really did is I added these and included it to give you guys a great deal because I think it helps, especially these two out of all of them are going to be the most help. So normally for a year of this, it's like $2,000 for a year of this. I'm just throwing in the year right away. So lifetime here, 1 year here. And then right here, I'm going to give you lifetime to this too, as long as I do it. Those recordings for the past 5 years, I do it once a year. I do it live. So it's going to be like we are now. I mean, me and Corey are going to be on there, and we'll be interacting live with you on here. And I don't promise that I'll do it forever, but I will promise that I'll record it, and I've recorded the last 5 years, and I'll give you lifetime access to those recordings. And if I decide to do one again next year, you'll get that too. And if I decide to do the one next year, but I do that year to year. Is that fair? Okay. So those are the three you got. How many feel that's a fair deal? Just put in fair deal so I know. Okay. Fair deal. Good value. We talked about that last week. Okay. Fair deal. And, it's important that you give people a good deal. You know, I'm not a big believer in helicopter money. You guys know that. And let me ask you, I let my brother in this for no charge. I go, you're my brother, no charge. I should have charged him $10,000 because he hasn't even opened it yet, because I can tell. Hasn't even opened it yet. Okay, so those are the three classes. So let me review again. These are now I'm already getting questions about ultimate options, okay? I want to buy this. Just cool it, okay? I don't let anyone not buy it. If you want to buy it, great. But I'm just telling you what you have right now are these three. This right here is an advanced class. These right here are for beginning to intermediate guys. Do you see that? This one is advanced. So if a guy says, I want to be an advanced options trader, well, great. Take ultimate options. But what we're focused on for this orientation are these three. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so that's really, really good. So let's just give a tour of each one really quickly. Let's give a tour of each one. I'm going to go into the 4 pillars of investing. This is the realities of investing class where I really chew everyone out and say, don't be psycho. You don't think you're going to make $1 million overnight, and understand the risk. How many have already taken this, by the way, just by hands? You've already got through. Good. Excellent. Okay. And it's good stuff, right? It's important stuff, right? No one should really mind about that. So then you get in here, and this beginning investor bootcamp, some of you asking me about the software and asking me how to set up an account. You're asking me all those questions, and I kind of reeled you in. This is where you learn that. Okay. So you click the beginning investor bootcamp, and then Corey and I take you through, all the stuff on, on how we, the software's in there, choosing a brokerage is in there, all that stuff is in there, okay? So that's included. You guys all have access to that. Okay, then you click here, you got fundamentals, right? All the modules.
Andy, can I say?
Please.
Andy, sorry, let me say one thing. We've got a few questions. A few people are asking about, they can't see the 30-day cash flow blueprint in there. Will you just explain again?
Yes, thank you.
That there's not a product called that. It consists of those other three.
That's awesome. The 30-day cash flow blueprint is really designed around this because the Quick Start Labs are what? 2 times per week for 30 days, for 1 month, right? That's what that is. So the shortest program is 30 days, but we added all these together. So these 3 things make up the 30-day cash flow blueprint. It's what we would call in business a bundle. It's a bundle of classes. So when you buy the 30-day cash flow blueprint, you receive all 3 of those programs. Give me a yes if that makes sense. Thanks for the question, Mike. See, that's a question that's relevant to what we were talking about, see? Okay, so that's what the 30-day cash flow blueprint is. The reason we call it 30 days is the Quick Start Labs are live for 30 days, but you actually have them for life, the recordings, and this is good for a year. So there you go. And we've had people in our mentor clubs since we started. I mean, we have charter members still that have just been there forever. Okay, so we click on the 4 pillars of investing. Thank you, Mike.
Sorry, let me say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got a few other questions about the Quick Start Labs. The ones that are currently in there are recordings from previous years, and you're welcome to look at those. We will be starting new Quick Start Labs this coming Tuesday. You will be automatically registered for those in GoToWebinar. We'll send out the email tomorrow with all the dates and details. So the ones that are in there right now are previous years, and then you will attend new ones, and then as soon as we do all the new ones, those will also be updated in the site.
That's right. So this one is from 2019, you can see. This one is from 2018. This is from 2017. So starting next Tuesday, we're going to put in a 2020. Is that right? That's right. So good. Now we don't need to talk about the Quick Start Labs. We already got those going. And if you can't make a Quick Start Lab live, they'll be recorded like we promised. All the others are, so it'll be recorded. And the reason the Quick Start Lab is important while we're talking about it, we just will knock that one out while we're talking about it, is I mentioned there was investing and there was trading. So the ExxonMobil trade that I showed you last week, let's have you type this in. Was that a cash trade, or was it buying a business? What are we trying to do? Invest or trade with ExxonMobil? What was my goal? Invest or trade? Let's see how you guys did on this. That is 100% correct. We're investing. Oh, we had one person say trade. Nope, we're investing. Okay, we're investing. Now, watch this. Let's go to IBM. Do I want to buy IBM, or let me go back to this right here, like this, bam. Am I going to buy IBM or that's XOM, IBM. Am I going to buy IBM, or am I trading IBM for cash flow? I'm trading IBM. Yeah, when this is over, I don't want any freaking IBM. I just want $15,720, right? With zero risk. Well, actually $280 plus. So there's not only no risk, I'm guaranteed a minimum of $280 if I'm in this trade, if I have this trade on. It started with $1,000 risk. Started with $1,020 risk, and now it's up to whatever. Bought this, click, 15 grand risk free. So that's a trade. So that means Cheryl says, take the money and run. Okay, that's a trade. Okay, so the Mentor Club, or the Quick Start Labs, is we're going to focus on trades. You guys want to tell me the first trade we're going to do? It's a trade that actually is taught in our advanced options class called a bear call spread. So that's going to be the first one, bear call spread. So that's how that works, okay? So thank you, Mike. So that's quick starts, okay? Let's go back to 4 pillars for just a moment. When I click on 4 pillars, I have the fundamentals, technicals, and cash flow. And what I would recommend right here, and I got a bad chart, so I apologize for that. I'm going to recommend this, and this is the only thing you have to really write down the whole night. So if there's one thing you're going to write down the whole night, this is it. In fact, to make this like insanely ultra clear, we're going to pull off this, we're going to pull off this, we're going to pull off this, and we're going to pull off this. So it's the only thing we see. So it's the only thing you need to write down, okay? That's it. We're going to make this simple. We're really good at simple and easy. Couple of tracks, okay? Track 1, normal order. Normal order. Now, I've had emails from people. It's like 20 hours of training or something like that. I've had people binge watch this and get through the whole 4 pillars in like a day or 2 days. And I'm just curious, how many actually did that? How many have actually binge watched this and got done in your first week? Because that'd be insane if we have those. Put a hand up if you binge watched. We have some. Jessica, you're awesome. Okay, that's fantastic. Look at all that. Jose did it. God, you guys are amazing. Lucy did it. So you guys have already done the normal order, and you should repeat it. You should do it again. Because do you believe that you'll catch more the second time? Why do you think I gave you lifetime access? Most of my students review it either once a quarter, they'll go through it once a quarter, or once a year. And they'll repeat that class to lock you in on the phone. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, because you forget. If I were to give you a math test from college, could you pass it today or would you fail? Right? If I gave you a math test from college, see, the problem with college is they're just trying to give you a grade, not knowledge, right? You guys want a grade or you want knowledge right now? See? And so the knowledge needs to be repeated. So normal order's fine, okay? Just going fundamentals, watch it, technicals, watch it, cash flow, watch it, risk management. However, in wartime, if you're saying, look, I haven't been laid off my job, I haven't been quarantined, I'm on the front lines, and this here, I get emotional again. If you're working at Costco right now, you're a hero. If you're bagging groceries at the Foodway, you're a freaking hero right now because you're on a front line. That's my opinion. So if you're on a front line and you've got to learn this in your spare time, you aren't just, sequestered at home, here's the order I would recommend. 1, cash flow module 3, 2, risk management 4, 3, analyzing a company, 4, analyzing a sovereign nation. And the reason is this cash flow model 3 shows you how to do that trade on ExxonMobil that I just showed. This shows you how to buy the protective put to manage risk. This shows you how to evaluate companies. And this is going to be key because right now, how many of you have heard, by raise of hand or typing in either way, how many of you guys heard that the Federal Reserve is doing some weird stuff? That you hear like the Federal Reserve's doing stimulus and they're lowering rates to zero and all that type of blah 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 blah, and they're printing money and quantitative easing and what's fractional reserve lending and all this stuff's going on. And some people are like saying, well, yeah, but I don't get any of it, right? I don't understand any of that crap, right? And so what's going to happen is this number 4, okay, this fundamentalist module 6, 3 through 6 is corporations. 3 through 6 is corporations. And number 6 and 7 is on all this money they're printing and all that type of cool stuff, right? That's where it's going to be, okay? So if you're, and then after if you're in a real hurry to learn the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you need a little help from a financial advisor after you've learned this stuff, you'll find out, and this is what's interesting. How many think you're about to find out whether your financial advisor knows what they're doing or not? Because some financial advisors are just a salesman trying to get your account. So if you go in to your financial advisor, you say, I think I want to make maybe a 12% annualized return by selling an out of the money put option to acquire ExxonMobil or Delta or whatever, and they say, maybe you shop around. But if they say, oh, I didn't know you were into that stuff, yeah, I'll help you with it. We'll map out a plan. Well, that's great. So this type of stuff is the order. Okay, so you can do the normal order, or you can do what we'll call wartime. Okay, where you do this first and then you go here. Either one is acceptable. Either one is fine. But if you want to skip to the parts that we talked about last week that are most relevant for last week, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, where you say, oh, that's what they were doing last week. Now I get it. And now you can go as fast as you want or as slow as you want. Now it's not up to me. It's up to you. Okay. We've done our part and you'll do your part. Okay. So great job. All right. We're almost through. You guys are going to be so much fun to teach. You guys are just on it. There's just something about this group. You guys are just on it. Okay, it's just awesome. Someone said, thanks for wartime recommendations. You bet. That's wartime. All right, so we prioritized that course. Okay, we did the Quick Start Labs. We did the programs we don't need. We did the prerequisite stuff. We got to talk about the coaching. We got to talk about Mentor Club. Now, we skipped over Mentor Club. Mentor Club is like going to a foreign country. This one will be the one that requires the most patience. So I'm going to show you what Mentor Club is for and what it looks like, okay? Financial IQ, time. If I were to take you to learn Spanish, and let's pretend that's your second language. Let's pretend English is your first and you're going to learn a different language, whatever one you want. Let's say German. So if I want to learn German, and I'm going to have you type stuff in here, please. If I was going to learn German, there's two ways I could learn it. I could take a class on how to speak German, A. B, I could go to Germany for 2 years or a year, let's say 1 year, and I could just live in Germany and experience it. So I could take a class or go to Germany. Immersion always wins, someone said. Go to Germany, live there, go to Germany, go to Germany, go to Germany, live there. Okay, wait. Now hold your horses. What? Okay, so let's say that over here, I have a class to go to Germany, okay? I'm probably going to learn German like this because I'm going to learn more earlier. How many words do you think I will understand my first day in Germany? How many words do you think I'll understand my first day in Germany? Sean is saying 3. I got a 2. I got a 0. Someone says 5. Kenneth, I'm not that smart. Someone even gave me the benefit of 10. Am I gonna? But watch this. Am I going to be able to communicate effectively day one? Am I going to be able to communicate? No, 0, right? 0 understanding. Okay. So where have you done most of your learning? In a class. You guys are already question askers, which is good. But for my first day or my first week, my comprehension is close to 0, right? So if you get in the Mentor Club your first week and you understand anything, like if I say put, you go, I think I remember what one of those were. Great, because the Mentor Club is immersion because we're doing it. And we're doing it speaking at normal speed and normal language. So how many think there is probably a 100% likelihood that on Monday, tomorrow, when I email you the Mentor Club, that it probably won't be as clear as the class I taught today because it's immersion? How many get that? Just say, I get it, Andy. And say, by the way, I will be patient, right? I will be patient. So the problem with Mentor Club is people get in there and, I have to kind of coach them a little bit. And they say, Andy, I went to Mentor Club today and I understood about 5% of that class. Okay, well, if someone says they're only getting 5% value at 5% retention, do they really understand this? Why do you think I gave you a year, right? So Quick Start Labs is teaching, and 4 Pillars is classroom and teaching. Mentor Club is doing, because what good does it do to learn this if you can't do it? And so now I'm going to ask the question again, and let's ask a little differently. A, I could go to classes. B, I could go to Germany. C, I could do both, and that would be the best formula. How many like both? Oh, so to answer your question, the 30-day cash flow blueprint, right? The 30-day cash flow blueprint gives you all of it, right? It gives you class, right? Class. Gives you class. Gives you real doing, right? Doing. We do it in a fake account, but it's real trades, real time. Application, doing it, okay? And that's why we designed it that way. So hopefully you're like, at this point, you're saying, I didn't really know what I bought last week. I just knew it was cool. But now you're like saying, wow, what I really bought was really cool. They actually thought this thing out. They actually thought out, maybe these guys have trained people before. Maybe they've done it before. In your 4 pillars, last thing we'll talk about, you're going to come upon action steps. Now, this is a little tough because right now you have a coronavirus with a graph, and a lot of you have probably seen this, and you've seen this, and you've seen this bar. This is our healthcare system capacity. This is what we can handle, okay? If we don't take this serious and we go to spring break, and if anyone's in this room saying that this is not a big deal, and you have any trust in me about analyzing charts and understanding exponential growth and understanding trends, this is not the one we want, because it will exceed our healthcare capacity. This is one we want. Well, what do you think people's desire for financial education is right now? Do you think it looks like the red, like this, for financial education right now? Or do you think people are like, oh, I'll be fine, I'll just learn this over time? What do you think the desire for financial education is right now, red or blue? So I have the same problem that the healthcare system has, and the healthcare system is going to have to ration ventilators. And the healthcare system is going to have to ration hospital beds. And the healthcare system is going to have to ration nurse care. Does that make sense to everybody? Because it's frontline stuff. Well, our Cash Flow Academy coaching program is where we have a live coach that coaches you through your 4 pillars as you take it to do it. So for example, when you see, where'd it go? I've lost all my stuff. When we bring up a 4 pillar, like fundamentals, after we go through a certain amount of 4 pillars, let's just find one, you will see one of these action steps. And a lot of people say, I don't want to do the action steps on my own. I want to do this, for example, let's just look at one. I want someone, geez, there's so many. Let me find one here. I want someone to help me do that fundamental analysis on my 3 companies. I want to help compare them. I want to run the scans. I want to report to the coach. I very much want to do this stuff as we go through. Then we have coaches available, but the coaches are finite, okay? So, I'm not going to sell that right now. I'm not even going to talk about pricing. I'm not talking about the program. I don't have time for it. But this is coaching. So the way to do this, how do you decide who gets a ventilator and who doesn't? I would give it to the person who would do the most good for, probably. But the way we do it is you ask and get on a list. And, when we have capacity, how good would it be if you're waiting for a ventilator and they say we don't have one? Well, you'd at least want to get on the list and say, the moment a ventilator opens up, I'd at least like to know what it takes to get a ventilator. So, Mike, do we have a way that these guys, if they're interested in coaching and want to get on a list, that we can give them an email or something? How do we work that? Can you unmute Mike? Maybe Mike's gone. So just contact support.
Sorry, I'm here.
Oh,
I was struggling to unmute myself.
No problem.
The best thing to do is go to our support that you see up at the top there, Andy. When you go to the website, There's a support link. There's a support link up there, and if you just click on that and submit a request, and put your info in there, and then in the description or the subject line, just say coaching information, please, or anything like that. Anything about coaching. And we'll make sure you get on the list.
We'll get you on the list. So, and speaking of that, this is really important. How do you get support? So we understand the 4 pillars, we understand everything. How do you get support in this thing? You click on support, and there's sections. There's general questions, billing questions, product questions, all this, recent questions. And if it's not in here, this helps the capacity of, lower the curve. If you can get it here, it's good. This coronavirus is good teaching. If you get it here, then you don't have to call the nurse. But if it's not there, submit a request, call the nurse. I will answer any question that you have regarding anything except, Andy, should I buy this gold or silver? Is this a good stock for me? I can't give financial advice. Is that fair? Yes? I can't give you financial advice. Everything else is great. Yes? All right, look, we've already got people typing in for coaching here, okay? So listen, please. You're already asking to be on the list via the chat. I can't put you in the list via the chat. If you want it, just come here. And please be patient, okay? And we'll do it. But some people are asking in the question box, can I get on the list right here? No. Please submit a request. Do it like everybody else does, and do it that way. I love what Astreus Lockie says. He says, I understood that from the disclaimer that I'm not going to answer that stuff in the video, right? We're not advisors. Okay, so let's look back and see how we did. I can't get emotional. I've done a good job on my emotions. I got to keep it. Make your education plan in terms of, do you want to get on a list for coach or no? How many pillars you want to go? You need a wartime, peacetime, right? Am I going to commit not to miss Mentor Club? When I get in Mentor Club and I don't understand a thing Noah said the first time, give yourself, 3 months, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm speaking a different language. I didn't know I could speak German, right? So that's it. We also have advanced coaching. That is invitation only, and no one gets to even apply for advanced coaching until they've taken every class we have. None of you are in that, so we don't need to talk about things that we don't show. After a person gets through everything, then we can sit down and do like one-on-one advanced stuff that's sick awesome. But that's for people that are really advanced. So I think we got it done. I think we went through everything that is here, and we're only about 10 minutes over. So you guys are fantastic. I love you. I hope this was good. Let me just see if I've given you a little peace of mind tonight. How many feel good about what they've gotten involved in? They feel supported, they feel cared about, and they feel that they're about ready for the best educational experiences you ever had. I'm getting emotional when I look at that because that means a lot to me. Some of the stuff you guys are writing in is, that's pretty cool. You guys are jacked, man. You're pumped. And we're going to support you. We're going to be there for you. And, anything you purchase from us, just know you're going to get the same care all the time, right? So here's the next thing. Mentor Club is going to be recorded tomorrow morning. It'll be in your inbox in the evening by, depending on where you were in the world and how fast it takes to get it processed and all that. But generally, if it's a holiday and the market's closed, I'll either send it out a day early or a day later and enjoy the holiday. But generally when the market's open, we're open is kind of how that works. And then so Monday is Mentor Club. On Tuesday night is Quick Start Lab. Okay, in the evening, we'll mix the Quick Start Labs up because some people are like, oh, awesome, they're all at 7 p.m. What about the people that work at 7 p.m. at Costco trying to keep the world running, right? What if the nurses and doctors are? So we mix them up. We'll mix up the days. You'll see in the GoToWebinar, you're already registered. Mike will have you set up in there. And so this week we got really 3 things to think about. We got Mentor Club tomorrow. Won't make much sense if you haven't been through 4 pillars. So you got Mentor Club tomorrow. You got Quick Start Lab on Tuesday, and you got your 4 pillars anytime you want. Either wartime order or regular order. It's your job now to work hard. It's your job now to keep up. This will be a little overwhelming. So there you go. Now, remember, Mentor Club is a recording that is sent out, right? Mentor Club is what Noah and I record it together because we sometimes want to edit it. And then we send out a recording of Mentor Club in the afternoon. And then Quick Start Labs will be live. So that's how that will work, okay? If you miss Quick Start, there you go, okay? Last time through, where do I begin my training? You begin it with the 4 pillars of investing, and you attend Mentor Club. This will be confusing at first. It'll be fine later, and then start your Quick Start Labs. But if you are a beginner, the very first thing is the 4 pillars of investing, and I said that wartime, if you're a beginner, I would do normal. Just start normal. If you have no idea what I was talking about, and this whole thing was confused, start normal. If you understand a little bit of this stuff, and you say, I want to learn those cash flow trades, I want to learn that cool put selling, and I want to learn to quit buying, and how to evaluate a company, and then this is wartime again. That's the wartime. So if nothing else, okay, get in your 4 pillars first and start there, okay? Mike, you got anything at the end of this you want to add that I've messed up, where we can wrap it up?
No, great stuff again. Really, the only thing I would remind people is the Quick Start Labs. They will be live sessions just like this tonight here in GoToWebinar. We will automatically register you for those, and you will receive an email that has all that information in it and the links, and then you'll get a link for each session. along with the actual schedule for all the Quick Start Labs. If you can attend them live, that's great. If your schedule does not allow that, no problem. They'll be recorded and posted in the member area. So you won't miss anything other than the, kind of the energy of attending live. But we always record everything and make sure you have access to it.
Last thing I do is give you my blessing and give you my love. Stay safe out there. Listen to the World Health Organization. Don't blow this over. My grandparents, your grandparents, we depend on this. Our children, our economy, take this thing seriously. Okay, life has changed for a little bit. No basketball, no baseball games, no school. Life is different. Take this serious. Link arms. Learn with me. We're going to be okay together. I love you guys. Have a great night, everyone.